welcome to part 3 of our Moho-ho Christmas crochet along. We are making our tree skirt. Here she is. Oh, what a beaut. And today we're going to look at how we join our 9 pentagons together. So if you have a quick look at this one, so I've got 3 different colours. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And we want to join them round so that we have, can't really show you all on this, zoomed in too much, so that you've got them in one circle but with a join with a break at the end. So we're just going to join 9 together in a nice chain, and we're going to join, so we're going to join 2 edges together, leave a side, and then 2 together. So we should have 2 exposed edges at the bottom in the zigzag shape so that we can do our granny stripes afterwards. All right then, let's get on with it. So I'm going to show you today using a contrast thread, using a contrast colour so that you can see your stitching more easily. Now it will be more helpful if you can make sure that your pieces are all on the same side. So to do that, there's 2 things we can check. If you look at this ring inside, you want your first 2 rounds to have like a bit of a dimple and be set back a little bit. So you can see you don't get it on that side. So if you make sure that they both match there, or you can use your edges to decide. So if you look on there, you can see the V's along this side, and along that side we can see the backs of the stitches, the holes that we've normally work in. So that's the side that we want facing us. And what we're going to do is we're going to join these 2 here. I know that I've got 2 next to each other of the same colour. You won't have. So I'm going to show you how you join here, and then we would join the next one there, and then there, and you'd make it around. So you had 1 edge across the top, and then 2 at the bottom. Okay, right, so we're going to use my favourite seam. It's called the rickrack slip stitch seam. I call it that anyway. So I'm going to do it in red so that you can see it nice and clearly on here and you can see what we're up to. So we're back to our normal 5mm hook, or whatever you've been using to create the rest of the pieces. Lace yourself up in our usual style, no slip knot or anything. Now we're going to start at the bottom of these pieces and we're going to work up to the tops. Some people find it easier to put a stitch marker in them, but I think it'll be alright. What we're going to do first of all is we're going to join into these 2 chain spaces here. Now this is why it's quite important that you have the same number of stitches on each side, because we're going to join stitch for stitch. And if you've not got the same number on each side, then we'll have to do a little bit of fudging. It's doable, don't worry, but we'll need a bit of fudging. So we're going to join in these 2 together. So if you take them first of all and put them wrong sides together and put your hook through both of those chain spaces there, like that. Wrap your yarn over your hook, pull it through, and then chain 1. And I've just kept hold of that over there, right? So we've now got our tail out of the way. Now if you have a look up these sides, you've got these lovely little holes where we would normally put our hooks in. That's exactly where we're going to put our hook in. We're going to start on this side though, and then we're going to alternate bingy bongy, bingy bongy, bingy bongy. Okay, so, and this side's not too tricky, but the other side can be a bit awkward. So it's all about how we hold it. So I'm going to hold this one first, put my hook in my first stitch, and do a slip stitch. Don't pull these too tight because you want it to have a bit of bounce and a bit of character. So I'm then going to go over, and if you have a look over here, we've got this first stitch there. It's easy to miss this one, so make sure you smoosh that back a bit and then you can see it. So we then go over here, and it's a bit alien. You're going to push it in there. So I've pushed it through my work front to back as I normally would. Bit awkward. Wrap your yarn over your hook as you normally would. Try not to catch the bit of that at the back, and pull it through your work and through your loop. It's then same again. So we're going back over to this side, so through, just as you would a normal slip stitch, through, lovely. Then it's back over to this slightly more awkward side, in, yarn over your hook, pull it back through. Try not to let this loop get a bit baggy, because it does have a tendency to, because you're stretched over there. So then we're back to this side, so we go in, slippity slip, lovely, back over to that one, in, slip slip. If you've got more stitches on one side than the other, you might need to go into one twice on the side where you've not got quite as many to even it out, but it'll look all right. So back over to this side, in, back, back, that one, through, wrap it over. It will feel really weird and alien, that little bit, but it'll be fine. So this side, lovely, to the side, this side, that side, this side. It is more forgiving, obviously, in the same colour as well. I'm just doing it in this colour so you can see the difference in the effect. A contrast colour does look lovely, but there's a bit more pressure to get it nice and even. So we're going up here. So I'm coming up to my chain spaces are up here. So I've got one more on each side to do. So slip, slip, like that. And then at the top, we're going to come over to this side. So we're over here, and I'm going to do a slip stitch through both of those one chain spaces there. So I'm coming out of there and just doing a normal slip stitch there. All right, we then, ooh, don't split your yarn. So you can see we get this lovely, lovely rickrack effect. We're then going to snip off and pull it all the way up through there. We then take our needle. Oh, I've left my orange one downstairs. We'll go with pink. So we're then going to take this and we're going to sew these in. So I'm going to sew it. I'm going to go back through that one there just to reinforce that little bit over there. And then I'm going to just pick up a few little bits down here and sew it in on the back. You get this lovely zigzag pattern on the back as well. It's a really, really, really delightful little stitch. So I'm just going to sew in down here. It will show up on this, but this is going to be the back, so don't worry. Yours will not show up if it's in the same colour. So we just sew it in down there like that. We can snip that off, and then same again with the other one. Just going to go back in that side over there just to reinforce that first join. So back in there, flip it over and up, 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 up. There we go, like that. Okay, so we'll snip them off afterwards and we should look a little like that. So your next one will be joined onto here and then here. So we always have one side exposed at the top and two at the bottom. And then when you've got all 9 done, we're ready for the next bit. All right, so that's it for now. Give us a shout if you've got any questions. Send us some photos of where you're up to. And other than that, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.